Okay, so I'm showing you here the top of my shelf. It's a Billy from IKEA. I don't make advertising for IKEA. It's just I tell you to give you an idea of the size of the shelves. So I already decluttered and that, and I must continue at the bottom. I have a lot of vinyl records here. So the worst part is here. It's actually two Billys, the wide ones, one close to the other. And I have a lot of books here, as you can see. And I'm not going to scroll down here. I have some stuff in front of that, and I have more here, and I have more here. And I'm not showing you, but actually in my shop there is one shelf full of my books that I couldn't put in my home. And I have more here. I'm in the bathroom. That is the ones maybe that I look at the most of the time. And there is another one here, so that is a narrow Billy. There are a lot of things I think that I will be able to declutter here. Today I'm going to talk about books. How to declutter books. You know, as everybody, I read the Marie Kondo book. I suppose that if you are watching this video, you read it. Anyway, Marie Kondo says that we must declutter per categories. So for me, decluttering clothes, outfits, shoes, bags, it's difficult, but it's not the most difficult. The most difficult for me is books. Why? Not because I don't like to give away books or to sell my books or even to donate my books. It's not a problem for me. I'm actually using my books. I'm using my books, and I'm not saying that I'm using them every day, but they are a part of my work. They are a part of my knowledge. And for me, it's like tools for my job. So it's very difficult for me to get rid of books unless it is a novel or a subject which is not a part of my job. But if it's a part of my job, the only way for me to get rid of them is if I don't really like what is in the book. And if there is nothing interesting to learn from it, or if I'm sure that I'm not going to use it, then I'm able to get rid of it. I'm going to give you an example of books that I'm able to sell or to give away or to donate. For example, this book, it's Guide pratique des lettres enluminées. It's enluminure. I don't know how we say that in English. It's, you know, this lettering with gold and wonderful things. I don't know if you manage to see. This book is wonderful. It's beautiful, but I never used it once since I have it. Never. I like to look at it. It's beautiful. It's inspiring. But I know that I'm not going to do that. It's not me. I'm not the kind of person, I don't maybe have the passions to do things like that. I'm not going to use that. Same thing with les icônes. Icons, I don't know how we say, you know, these saints with gold in the background. It's a wonderful book. I never used it once. So I think that someone who does that would need it while I don't. So I can get rid of that. This, l'aquarelle et la détrempe. I thought that I would learn something on watercolor, but the style of the book is not mine. I will never paint like what is shown in this book. I don't like the style, so I don't go to see what is inside. I don't even feel inspired. So even if they say interesting things about the technique, I know that I'm not going to look at it, so I can get rid of that. This one, Peinture sur tissu, Miranda Ines. I have a lot of books about painting on fabrics, a lot, because I do paint on fabrics. I do a lot of things. During a while I used to paint on velvet, and I was doing scarves like that, and I was selling my scarves. Actually, I sold all my scarves. I think I have one remaining that I kept for myself, but I sold absolutely everything. I'm wondering if I'm not going to do that again. Anyway, this book, I don't like so much the style inside. I know I'm not going to look at that, so maybe it's better that it goes to someone who likes what is inside. Patchwork, the tricot, so it's knit patchwork, knitting patchwork. I knit, I crochet, but I will never do that. I don't have the patience to do things like that. So same thing, it must go to someone who will do that. And another thing, it's a kind of magazine about Kilt Mania patchwork. There is Keith Fassett in it. It's an English guy who makes a lot of needlework and patchwork and things like that. But I have a lot of books about Keith Fassett, so I don't need this magazine. I have enough books about this guy, and I think that it will be useful to someone else because you see, Keith Fassett, because I'm not going to do that. So these books are going to be sold or given away or donated, or I don't know, or maybe I will bring it to a library that I have not far from my home. Some of them are in French, so it's a little complicated as I'm in the US, but there are some Canadians who speak French, so maybe it can interest them. Or some people are speaking French here if they come from Martinique or Guadeloupe, or they speak French. So for example, a book like this, it's the only book I have about molding. It has been written by Jean-Pierre Delpech, who is my co-author of the book that I wrote myself. He's a friend of mine. I have his book. I'm keeping this book, not that I plan to do moldings every day, but if I need to do molding, I don't know how we say, technically, I know that everything inside is relevant and precise and easy to understand, so I keep that. So this is a brochure about oil painting, Lefranc et Bourgeois. It's not a book, but it's a brochure which explains each product, how to use it, and what is the purpose of the product. That is kind of a Bible. I keep that. So this is some resin. I have another book here. Yes, for example here. In my book with Jean-Pierre, we did some examples of resin above objects, and I used to do that. I don't have the product here that I used, you know, with two parts and you mix and it gives you a clear resin. For example, things like that on a matchbox, that's fun to do, or on a box. Even the dry flowers inside included in resin. I love doing that, so I keep things like that. Oh, so that is another brochure. Everything about Libéron, its products for furniture. So even if you don't buy the Libéron products, usually I use the Frères Nordin, but they explain to you how to use the products, and it's very useful. I used to decorate furniture and to do demonstration about these products, and also to decorate furniture for people and to do workshops. So of course, if I forgot something, I can check that, and I'm glad to have it. Lamp, same thing, lamps. I don't do lamps every day, but if I need to do lamps and if I have a question in mind, if I want to make a lamp, I'm going to check in that, just maybe to get an idea or to answer one of my questions. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do exactly what is in this book, because I never managed to copy anything, but it can be useful. So you are going to tell me just in case is not a good reason to keep something. In my case, yes, it's a good reason because I may during 2 years not look at that, and suddenly I'm going to look at that during 2 months because suddenly it's exactly what I need. So in my case, yes, I need to keep that. To décorer à la cuve, so it's marbled paper. That is a technique that I used to do, that I love doing, and I've not been doing that since a while, but I want to do it again. I have a lot of papers like that that I made myself. I have such a big stock of papers like that. I love doing that. So I have maybe 1 or 2 books about this technique. I'm keeping it. Aquarelle, it's watercolor again. That is all the mix of colors. It's a very good book. I love looking at it. I love looking at this one about oil painting. Not that I'm doing what they do, but I like to check sometimes on a product. This and this are among the first books that I bought about painting on furniture. My first thing that I made, it was when I was a child. I painted a box at school, and it probably remained in my mind all my life because as soon as I was adult, I always wanted to paint on furniture, and I'm crazy about painting on furniture. And these are, they are very old. The style is really, it's very country like. For example, this is typical of the French country, so it's not something modern, but I like the history of painting on furniture, and sometimes I use the motifs that I reinvent by my own way, but I like the naive look, the bird here. It's so adorable. I love that, and this one too. So look, you have a big motif that you can print and redo, but this, it's typical of France. I absolutely love that. I learned how to do the patina to give this kind of look to a piece of furniture, which could be new. And I love doing that. So yes, of course, I keep that. So all these things are patterns. For example, Japanese patterns. That is Japanese pattern too. Because, for example, something like that, I can transform it like a stencil. I love this kind of books because it gives me ideas of old patterns that I can recreate in a creation, in a project, and it has some history, but in the same time it's reinvented. So this book is a Designer's Guide to Japanese Pattern by Jan Allen. I recommend that. And Japanese border design. So it's a very old illustration. Look at that. I love that. I love the fishes. It's so inspiring. Even if you don't do exactly the same thing, it gives you ideas. This one is about Chinese fabrics. I remember when I bought this book. Look at how beautiful. You must know that I'm passionate about patterns, prints, fabrics, papers, colors. Everything is a source of inspiration for me. Look at that. That would be a wonderful stencil. You have to transform a few things, but it could make a wonderful stencil. It's a beautiful, beautiful book that I will certainly not get rid of. The name is Miao Textiles from China by Gina Corrigan. I'm not paid by a publisher to talk about the books, I precise. Imitation Marbre et Bois. So it's an imitation of marble and wood and woods. I went to a school to learn that. I was at the IPEDEC where I learned how to imitate the marbles. And I also know how to imitate the woods, but the woods I learned that by myself. But every book showing how to do that, I just love it. You know, each school has its own way to do imitation of marbles. We were working with oils at the school, but then I worked with Olivine, I don't know how to say it, it's an English brand, I don't know if it still exists, and we were using acrylics products, so I learned both with oil and with acrylics. Anyway, good book. Peindre en trompe-l'œil. So trompe-l'œil, it's a technique that I actually learned with Joy de Ranchabot. She's a French artist. She became very famous now, but she was not as famous when I learned with her. She was actually my parents' neighbor, and I've known her since I was a child, and she taught me how she was doing her own trompe-l'œil. Even if it's not the same technique as written in this book, it's always interesting to see how you can do it differently. And the Italian comedy, I absolutely love all these characters, because, for example, in a painting as I'm doing right now, that is something which can be useful to me. You will see why. I'm passionate about the Italian comedy and Commedia dell'arte, and I absolutely love this book, which is heavy. I'm going to keep it. The book of Kells and the Celtic design. So these are things that I love. There is an Irish artist named Sabina Faye Braxton who paints a lot of stencil on velvet fabrics in the very Celtic or Irish style, and I absolutely love what she makes. I painted a lot on bags with Celtic motifs. I sold them all. These are wonderful stencils that I could use actually. I never do exactly the same thing as what I find in a book because I'm unable to copy exactly. I always need to put a touch of myself in it, but it can inspire me. I really like that. And the same thing with the Book of Kells. They are wonderful motifs. Don't know if you can see. Marie Kondo says when you sort your book, don't look inside, just look at them just like that, because if you start looking inside, you are not going to get rid of them. But for me, the decision is inside. If I open a book and I don't like what I'm seeing inside, then I can get rid of it. But if I love what I'm seeing, I keep it, because for me it's tools for my work. I'm using that. So the treasury of design for artists and craftsmen. So you must know that most of the time I buy the books in second hand, so I don't pay too much for them, because what is important is what is inside, what they say, or the illustrations. But I don't care if the book looks new or what. This one, it was obviously a second hand. The price was $4, but I think that I paid something like $1 or something like that. And I love it because there are, for example, motifs of paisley that I love doing sometimes. So you see, so I know that is going to be useful. Motif déco, le zodiac. So the zodiac, it's about the astrological signs. I'm very into that. Well, I'm very into that. No, I don't do astrology, but I believe in it, let's say. And I absolutely love these kinds of images. So, of course, I'm going to keep that. I'm showing you only things that I'm keeping. Chinoiserie, same thing, images of Chinese scenes. I'm not going to show you, but I love that. Grotesque, so that is typically Italian, French, I would say European. But if I have a custom order asking me to paint on the furniture or on a wall with some grotesques, at least I have some models, because that is not something you can invent. That is some history, you know, so you have to have a documentation to be able to reproduce something which would look like that, you know, so it's really a job with a lot of documentation you have to have. So you could say I can find things on internet, yes, but we don't find everything on internet. Alphabet decorative, so it's the alphabet with the lettering. So as much I am not going to put some gold and do enluminure, I may want to use something like that in a collage, or for example I can reprint it and collage it somewhere, or reproduce these letters for whatever reason. That is fantastic. That is so beautiful. I love that. Oh, this one, I remember when I bought it. I bought it in San Francisco in 1997. I absolutely adored, in Chinatown in San Francisco. And I adore this motif. And I actually used already, for a client, I painted on a chair. Yes, on a chair I painted this. It's a peony, so I'm not saying that I did exactly the same thing, but it was inspired from that, and I did that. So it's very useful. I love this kind of flowers, and it's really very inspiring. Look at the butterflies are fantastic. So it is always nice to have models so you can redraw the thing. I'm showing you all this to explain to you how it's difficult for me to get rid of books, because I'm using these books in my work. So it takes a lot of space, yes, it's heavy, so when I move it's always very heavy. I try not to buy more books now because I have a wide collection and I don't need more, except that I bought a book about Oisy-Basy. I wanted to know what it was about, and I bought the books by Marie Kondo, but otherwise I'm not buying books. Here in my two other shelves there are books about art and crafts, a lot, like journaling, painting, collaging, things like that. Here there are stencils, there are collaging, there are stamps, there are all kind of country creations. It's a never-ending documentation, I would say, but it's what made me what I am. It's like if you ask a musician to get rid of all his CD collections or his vinyl records collection, you don't get rid of things like that, because it's what makes you what you are. And all my knowledge, I can say that it's in here because I learned differently. I learned in schools, in companies where I had trainings. I learned by trying, I learned by myself, I learned by doing demonstration. When you do demonstration, you learn something in the same time. I made a lot of workshops with people, and sometimes you teach people something, but people teach you something too, because a mistake of a student can teach you something new. You always learn. I will always remember once I had a woman, she was scared to do everything, and she didn't want to try. She was scared just to try. And I told her, you are here to learn and to try. If you don't try here, you will never try, so try. And she made a stencil with an ochre paint, and the ochre paint looked like gold, and it was incredible, because once the stencil was made, I would have said she used some gold, and no, it was some ochre. Well, ochre and gold is very close, but still you have a metallic effect in the gold that you don't have in the ochre. But on the, I think it was a red background, on the red background the ochre looked really like gold. So it taught me something, because sometimes when I don't have gold, I use ochre, and sometimes I have the effect I want. So it's knowledge, it's by trying, but it's also by being inspired in books, on internet, in a exhibition, the drawing of a child doing something. The children are very free to express themselves, and often you learn just like that. So of course for the decluttering process it's very frustrating, because I managed to get rid of a few books, but not a lot. But I had to learn to accept the fact that this is who I am, and removing this or that, it's not going to help, because I really need that. It makes me happy when I look at that. Sometimes I don't even need to pick a book, I just look at the cover and it gives me an idea. So I think that I really need most of my books, and I will get rid of those that I don't need. But actually I realized that it was much easier to sort for me, because I really know what I want to keep, and I really know what I don't really care about. So it's easier than other things. Finally, it's very different from what I was imagining. I thought that it would be a nightmare to do. Actually, no, it's not a nightmare, because I perfectly know what I absolutely want to keep. And if it's a lot of books, well, okay. I'm a person who has a lot of books, but it's my work, it's my life, it's what I'm doing, it's who I am. So it's like that. I need inspiration for my art, for my work. Even, you know, when I'm selling on eBay old things, for example, I have a book about depression glass. I sold during a while a lot of depression glass items. I knew nothing about depression glass, but this book that I found in a thrift shop and that I paid maybe $2 helped me a lot to find the models to sell my things, because sometimes on internet you don't find the information you need. So I was very happy to have this book, and I'm keeping it because I'm using it. Okay, I hope I've not been too long. I hope that I didn't discourage you to sort your books. My way of sorting and decluttering my books are really mine. I mean, it's not the same for everybody. If you are the kind of person who read novels and once you have read them you don't care anymore, it's probably easier to get rid of stuff, or simply you can go to the library and you don't even need to buy the books. You can just borrow them and bring them back. Or you can maybe read on your Kindle, or I don't know, or on internet. It's even better. But for these things I'm really happy to have them. Not for their value, they have absolutely no value. If I was trying to sell these things, I would get almost nothing for each book, because books lose their value very quickly. But because of the colors, the knowledge, the beauty, the happiness which is inside, and it brings me so much happiness when I look at that, it's my own way of decluttering books. It's probably not a good one, it's mine. And if you are in the same situation as mine, which means you are an artist, or there is a subject that you love and you have a lot of books about that subject and you want to keep them, do like me, keep them. Keep them, even if it takes space. I'd rather have nothing else, but still I want to keep my books. Don't forget to like this video, to subscribe if you want to comment. Sorry if I don't answer right away, but I discovered lately that I'm not warned by your messages by YouTube, so I have to check all the time if there is a new comment or not, which is not easy, but I managed to do it now. So forgive me if it takes 2 or 3 days for me to answer you. I didn't forget you, it's just that I didn't see your message yet. But I will answer, I always answer your comments. Thank you very much and see you very soon. Bye bye.